Thank you. For more now, let's turn to former prosecutor Nancy Grace, the host of Nancy Grace on HLN, and prominent defense attorney Roy Black. Thank you both very much for joining us this morning. And Roy, let me start with you here first, because Giordano is expected to be released later today, won't be able to get a flight out until the morning, and there's an appeals hearing that's also set for about 11 a.m. tomorrow. So is there some concern from his camp that he's going to be able to get out?
Oh, I would imagine so. He's got to try to get to the airport as soon as possible. But I can't imagine why the court wouldn't have an earlier hearing knowing that this is in the offing. That sounds somewhat bizarre to me.
But I think other people on the flip side would say that they've had 4 months and that they haven't been able to find anything definitive. Nancy, we heard Matt alluding to it, the extradition process and how difficult it would be once he's gone.
It will be extremely difficult. And I agree with Roy Black. It's ridiculous that they are not moving the hearing. It's almost as if the Aruban government is orchestrating his release. It's simply a matter of moving the hearing from Wednesday to Tuesday, unless, of course, the prosecution has no other evidence. So what's the point of a hearing? The way it works there is you're taken into custody under suspicion every couple of weeks, such as after 8 days, 16 days, 30 days, and then another 30 days. They have a hearing, and the judge determines, is there enough evidence to keep holding the defendant, the suspect, Gary Giordano. Here, the judge has decided the case is not progressing, so they're cutting him loose. Tonight, he walks free, can fly home to Maryland tonight, and then the hearing is the next morning.
Right.
It makes no sense.
A lot of people are scratching their heads over that one, Nancy. And Roy, we're assuming that he comes back here to the U.S., but what happens if he flees somewhere else?
Well, as Nancy said, extradition is not that easy. And if he goes to another country, it'll probably be easier than the United States, because the way it is now, Aruba is going to have to send a note to the Secretary of State, who sends it to the Department of Justice, who gives it to the FBI. Then they go to federal court. Then you have a series of hearings. While it can be done, it is certainly not an easy, efficient system.
No, it's not. And Nancy, just talk about, this is a huge blow for the prosecution, his release.
Well, you know what? They should be used to it now, because look what happened in the Natalie Holloway case. It took Lima, Peru to get Jorn Vandersloot, and the facts in this case are egregious. These two met on Adult Friend Finder, a no-strings-attached dating service. She went down there, according to her friends that have spoken to me face-to-face, as friends only. He had some weird, apparently, allegedly, obsession with Natalie Holloway, had actually mentioned her to other women he wanted to go on vacations with that turned him down. She gets down there. They go to lunch at a restaurant called the Rum Reef, and I interviewed employees there. They came in 2 hours before she's lost at sea. She appeared woozy. 2 hours later, he's wandering around saying, "Hey, can I borrow your cell phone? My companion's gone." This woman had thousands of dollars of extensions in her hair, Robyn. She would not go underwater. And he says she was snorkeling. They went in a snorkel place and did not rent snorkeling gear. 2 hours later, she's gone. It doesn't add up.
No, in many ways it does not. And people are still saying it's been 4 months. They have not been able to find any hard evidence against him. And Roy, also compounding this is the insurance policy that we've been reporting on, and Matt did too, $1.5 million. Is he going to be able to collect?
Well, he may well be able to collect. The question is whether he has a legitimate insurable interest in her life, and he's made a claim on it, and that's probably the biggest evidence against him. I'm not really convinced by hair extensions and going to various clubs or websites or what have you. You have to have some evidence that somebody was actually killed by Giordano. I mean, you need a little bit more than that. At least the insurance policy shows some type of a motive.
And Nancy?
Well, you know what? Luckily, Roy, there is more than that. There is photographic video evidence just 2 hours before she's missing of them having a physical confrontation on an elevator there in the Renaissance Aruba where they were staying, where he's grabbing her and forcing her onto an elevator. Apparently, they argued over something that was on her computer where she wrote her boyfriend. He is found bone dry, according to reports, after they've been in the water, his toupee dry, just wandering along the beach, claiming he's looking for her. Her articles were never recovered, nothing. She left everything behind.
Well, Nancy, it's a good thing you're no longer a prosecutor, because hopefully that's not enough to get somebody charged with murder.
I'm going to take that as a compliment, Roy Black.
And you should.
Well, Roy Black and Nancy Grace, thank